इसको बड़ा खाली स्लाइड ही दिखना चाहिए. So I'll just tell Hemen bhai to start.
यहाँ से मुझे जाना है तो यहाँ पे राइट F5
और F5 करेंगे तो लाइव फुल स्क्रीन हो जाएगा. एस्केप करेंगे तो F5 रखो.
एक मिनट और यहाँ पे ये नॉर्मल है, ये मिनिमम करना है तो ऐसा ही करना है बस.
सेम.
ओके फाइन.
लाइव है.
Okay, we'll start with what is technical analysis. I'm sure everybody is aware of what is technical analysis. Everybody has heard of the term bull market. If I'm going in English, if you like in Gujarati or Hindi, please tell me. I'm more comfortable in English. Everybody has heard of the term bull market. Anybody can describe what a bull market is, technically speaking?
When the price of an underlying asset keeps on increasing.
Yes, but not technically. Anybody technically?
Rising trend.
Yes, something more to that?
Making higher top, higher bottom.
Yes. So we are looking at progressively higher tops and bottoms on long-term charts. I'm sure everybody looked at intraday, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. So whenever you have progressively higher tops and bottoms on the long-term charts, in this case it would be monthly, that is a bull market. So you're looking at an uptrend on a bigger time frame, that makes it a bull market. Correspondingly, in a bear market is exactly opposite. If you have lower tops and bottoms on the monthly chart, that makes it a downtrend. So we are looking at an uptrend on a bigger time frame, which is basically a bull market.
Shift there and you can sit backside also or cross because they want to see you. But backside they are having the problem. So I can just shift this so you can sit here. Fair enough? People, thanks. Just call somebody from systematic and because backside and you are soft spoken, so people can't hear out properly. ये चेयर वहाँ रख दें. ठीक है. नहीं जाएगा वो बायर्स की चाहिए और वो वापस नहीं दो इसको ना ये लैपटॉप को मेरे को वहाँ वो सेट कर ये दोनों लैपटॉप खाली ये पहले इधर रहने देते और मेरे को कनेक्ट कर बिकॉज दिस
अगर इतनी पेपर ले लेना तुम खाली वाला केबल से ठीक है देखा स्टॉप करूं वो नहीं रहेगा ये तो लाइव
Okay, we started with what is okay. We started with what basically is a bull market. So it basically means also another thing is when we have around more than 5,000 stocks listed on the BSE. So when a majority of these stocks move in a particular direction at the same time, half of them are not liquid, so maybe 2,000 stocks are traded regularly. So when a majority of these stocks move in a particular direction at the same time, that constitutes a trend. So, loud. So that constitutes a trend, and like I said, an uptrend on a bigger time frame is a bull market. So what as technical analysts we need to do is to identify an uptrend, a trend considered to be in motion unless evidence suggests otherwise. So how do we do that? We look at stock prices. In this case, what we are looking at is we are looking at a daily price chart of the Nifty. Like I said, you identify a trend. If you want to identify a trend, like you said, you need higher tops and bottoms. But the difficult part comes in when you have to draw a trend line. Any ideas on what a trend line is?
Just supporting tool to identify trend also.
Yes, absolutely. So we are looking at a trend line which supports a trend. In this case, since we are in a bull market, we look at supporting an uptrend, which is basically an uptrend. So how any ideas on how do you draw a trend line? Sorry?
For uptrend connecting bottoms, swing lows.
Okay, now there are multiple lows in a chart. How do you know which ones to take?
Avoiding spikes, closing it.
No, in this case, we're looking at lows which would connect the intraday lows, not the closing point of view. So, any ideas on how to identify the reversal points? In the sense, we're looking at reversal points, right? When a price reverses from a particular direction or a point, that's where demand overcomes supply and prices go back up. So basically, you're looking at reversal point. They could be in the upside, they could be on the downside. In this case, we want to plot an uptrend down to up, right? So we'll take support on the lower side of this thing. So we're looking for reversal points on the downside. Okay, now suppose how do I identify a reversal point? I mean, there are multiple reversal points on this price chart that you can see. Any ideas on how? I'm asking you these questions. So if you ask me something which even I'm not aware of, that will help in identifying it earlier.
Like patterns like hammer or something?
No, we're looking at bar charts. I am not a candlesticks guy. So any ideas on how do you identify which reversal point? See, I want you guys to do this little bit of this on your own after today. So how are you going to identify a reversal point? I can give you a long lecture and tell you this is fine, this is good, this is bad. But any ideas on how to identify a reversal point? No.
Some doji.
No.
First draw a trend line.
Yes. Yes. Sorry. No.
Support and resistance. Once break resistance.
Agreed. But we are drawing a upward slanting trend line. We're not looking at horizontal supports and resistance right now. Any ideas? You need 2 points to draw a line, right? I mean, that's elementary. Okay. You take 2 reversal points from the low. Any reversal points. Extend the line. And the third time when it touches the line and bounces back, that is the time your trend line is correct. I can come and tell you and show it to you because I draw mental trend lines when I see the chart. It takes me a second to do that. I've been doing this for 24 years. Hair has turned gray. Next year I won't have hair. Thing is, I'm doing this for a time, so it's easier for me. You need to spend some time every day doing this. So you look for reversal points on the downside, connect 2 points and extend the line. If it doesn't, okay, next time the price falls to the trend line, doesn't take support, goes down, that means your trend line is wrong. It's a self-validation tool. I'm not going to be around when you do this. So you need to take a trend line, extend it. And the longer the time it takes support and keeps on bounces back, that much more valid it's going to be. And that much severe the implications will be when the trend line is broken.
I want to just ask something. It is on mental, मतलब ये daily charts पर होता है कि monthly charts पर होता है, किस पर देखना है?
It works on intraday. It works in commodities, currencies, stock, across countries, continents, monthly, weekly, wherever the time frame is your choice. See, there could be contradicting signals also. If there is a breakdown from the line on the daily, but the weekly trend line is still up, you pay more attention to the weekly chart. Bigger the time frame, it has more data. Simply put, more people have traded on the bigger time frame. Your one day is what, 6 hours of trading. Your week will be multiplied that by 5. So if there is a trend line which breaks on the daily chart, depending on your use, like I said, you can use it for intraday. You can use it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, 1 hour, 2 hours. It all depends on whatever time frame you're using, how you are trading or how you're making your clients trade. It works on every time frame. But keep one thing in mind, smaller the time frame, that much for mistakes you will make. Nobody asked why.
But the occurrence of event is more.
Yes, so what is going to happen is smaller the time frame, that much more moves, and also means false moves. This is not geometry that we used to do in school and algebra. The theorems are good only on paper. There is no such thing as a perfect market. That's rubbish. It's demand supply pure. There could be spikes, there could be illiquid stocks, there could be one institution selling a big quantity one day, next day it's not there. So you have to factor in all that. So the time frame is important. Once again, depends on which time frame you're using. If you're in doubt on the intraday, go to the daily. If you're in doubt on the daily, go to the weekly. And if you still can't get a trend line, forget the stock. You can't say that for the Nifty because you have to look at it. So whenever in doubt, go to a bigger time frame. And what do you want to do? Like somebody was asking, the longer the trend line on the longer term charts, that much more valid it's going to be. The entire move in the BSE Sensex from 2003 to 2008 was supported by a complete single trend line. So when it breaks, you know that the market is gone for the next couple of years.
From 2009 to 2015. Was downside also in and an upside again.
Yes, absolutely. See, now if we were to draw a trend line from here, this is the first support line, a reversal level which looks good. This is on the hindsight. If you were drawing it then, you would have done this. Yes, no. Sorry. This we are doing this now. It's very good to give commentary when the match is over. When actually you're playing it, you don't know because you have the stress of having a position and telling people. You may not have a position, but when you're advising 10,000 people like I do, the stress kills you. Because one mistake and everybody will remember. See, you had told me 10 times you were right, nobody's going to remember. So in this case, the reversal point comes in over here. See this line. This line was working and valid that time. Okay, now this trend line breaks, we come here. And it starts all over again. So if I show you this, you will tell me the trend line is broken, it went down, went up. How do I justify that? Escape. Let's do this again. Yes, I need somebody to.
That's not really great.
Yeah, there is some apply stuck.
Nothing you can go.
Yeah, I need. This has to become a cursor, and it's not happening. Can you call somebody from stuff? That's yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just and then
Okay, we were talking about trends, trend lines, and channels. We will go back to that. So, like I said, this is just a succinct summation of what we've spoken about up till now. Tops and bottoms. There are basically 3 directions in the market: up, down, and sideways. Even then, most of us get it wrong. There are only 3 directions, but even then, most of us get it wrong. Once again, you're looking at the time frame. Short term, according to me, is the daily chart. Medium term, according to me, is 3 months. or more, which is the weekly chart, and longer term would be the monthly chart, which would be a year or more. If you're a jobber or an intraday trader, short term would be 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. So once again, the definition of short term changes. Okay. Yeah, sorry. This had got stuck up. Okay. Now we were looking at trend lines. This is the daily chart once again. Now, if I draw a trend line from here, everybody remembers this trend line which we had done, right? Okay, that changes. Now it went down, started going up again. You need to take a top to top trend line from here. If it gave a breakout above there, if you can see there is a big bar over there, it's visible to everybody. And if you match the volumes, 90% of the time volume would have been higher. Now we are not looking at delivery marking, we are looking at pure technical volume. Delivery marking is a different tool altogether, which we look at it later. So in this case, we are looking at a breakout, and it's obvious there's been a breakout simply because you can see there's a big bar. Now, out of 10 times, 8 times this would have been a higher volume. If the volume is not higher than the past 3 or 4 trading sessions, it's a false move, it's a hollow move, don't believe it, it's artificial, it's a trap. Our markets, even that works sometimes. So once again, you will learn this faster if you lose your own money. Faster you lose your own money, that much more faster you learn. Doing paper trades, buy one stock, writing it on paper doesn't work that way. One stock and do it. Now there's DMAT, so you can do one stock and do it. You will learn from your mistakes. Why did it go the other way? Because whatever you do practicing is not going to give you any results until you actually suffer yourself. And what's the best way to learn in the market? Lose money, lots of money. You need to make it back also. So if you see that volume over there would have been higher, and we saw a breakout because it closed above the trend line. If this is a daily trend line, you need to wait for the end of the day. Intraday ऊपर गया नहीं चलेगा, उसके ऊपर बंद आना जरूरी है. A prime example, Nifty has lost, there's open interest has been shedded almost 15 lakhs in the last 2 days, 15 to 16 lakhs. If you're looking at a move past 8,500, nobody's going to sell your Nifty. If you're a smart guy, you're a big guy, and you sold 15 or 16 lakh Nifty, if there is another 200 or 300 point up move, you are not stupid to sell that. So if Nifty is being shed, the open interest is reducing, that means there is something funny. You do not trust that move. Now, example, yesterday I spoke to Nupur. I told him I'm slightly bearish on the market. The sell signal hadn't come. I had gone to the channel, so I couldn't give him the last update. But I told him if it closes below 8210 Nifty spot, then we look at the downside. It didn't happen. So everything gets pushed back for a particular day. Speciality is America sneezes, we see a downward gap. There is nothing which will prevent you from losing money in such a situation. Even God can't help you. This is hogwash. If it happens in the US after market arc, what can you do? You cannot anticipate 1 day in advance what is going to happen in the US. And whether believe it or not, we follow them. It's a different matter. The US has gone from 9 to 16,000 and we still haven't gone anywhere. We've gone from 6,300 to 8,300 now, but the US has gone much more, and we are a developing economy. We should have done much better. But anyway, that's a different matter. So until it doesn't happen, like I said, this is a daily chart, so we need to wait for the end of the day. Because when you're looking at the weekly chart, expect a breakout midweek. If it doesn't close below that line till the end of the day, it does not work. You need to wait for that time frame to end. In our market, sometimes it gets late, but it's better to be safe than sorry. One more thing. If you see this, if you take a horizontal line, that was the previous bottom. Okay. After that, it came back to the previous bottom. Did it close below that bottom? No. So that means we can safely assume that is a support level. How does it work? Simply because prices went up. You and me are not buying over there. Some big elephant is. That's why it's moving like it's supposed to. So two things. We saw it take support on the previous bottom. We saw on the next day it gave a breakout when it overcame that supply line. So two reasons why you would have been bullish at that point in time if there is volume supporting. So this level now becomes your support, and that becomes your stop loss. When your resistance is overcome, it becomes support. When your support is broken, that becomes resistance. Elementary. So that becomes your support, and that support holds for quite some time. Now see, this keeps on repeating. After that, you see another move over here. Same, if you look at it, same story. We went up. If you had drawn a short-term trend line, that would have got broken. It came down. It came close to that previous level. Like I said, do not expect algebra like perfect. This is the market. People doing 10,000 things. And one more thing, when a majority of the people say what is going to happen, it never happens. There's the old saying in the market. The market will always do what it has to do to prove the majority wrong. When people like us come on TV, 10 people say the same thing, it never happens. It's very rare that it happens. Small example. When the Sensex was close to 10,000, BSE called band baja wala people every day for 2 weeks, including me. We said 10,000 hoga, 10,000 aaj hoga, kal hoga. It never happened. People got fed up. Band baja wala were told to go back. The day nobody said, it went to 10,000. It went scrambling to call the band baja wala. So the basic thing is the market will always do what it has to do to prove the majority wrong. And there's another thing. The market takes 90% of its time to make up its mind and 10% to get there. It consolidates, it takes time, but when it makes up its mind, it doesn't wait. Up or down, it runs. So same story. Now, if you see that, we have seen another thing where it takes support at that particular level. Once again, there we saw a big move, we see a big move. Your time frame matters. If you are trading intraday, you are trading short term, this becomes your trading range. It neither breaks this bottom, neither does it break this top. Till it doesn't overcome that top, it remains a trading range for you. How would you use this in terms of options? Your clients are okay. That's infinite risk, but then you also make more money often in writing than buying. You need to explain to them this, you could lose a lot of money. See, in situations like this, when you have a clear support level, which has been working up till now, that also becomes your stop loss. एक बार support level बन गया तो ऐसा नहीं कि भाई we will sit, wait till kingdom come. No, it doesn't work that way. That becomes your stop loss. So if that level was 6,650, you can might as well write put options of 6,500 or 6,400. Keeping this level as your stop loss, not the put level. And what you also need to do is, you look at implied volatility. There is no fixed rule to identify which is good and which is bad. But from experience, like I said, experience comes from losing money. So if you lost a lot of money, I'm sure most of you are intelligent. I am simply because I've lost a lot of money. I made more money, that's why I'm still alive, but that's how it is. Your normal volatility in Nifty options, individual stock options vary from 30 to 60%. 30 to 35% of implied volatility in the individual stock option is okay, no problem, that's normal. The day it starts crossing 50 and 60, that means it's dangerous. Normally, Infosys before the results has a volatility of 58 to 62%. That's why it makes sense to write options. But one more thing, do not write options when there is an event risk. Where there is a budget, there's a credit policy, there's a federal meeting, there is the Infosys result, don't. If the guy wants to commit suicide, please do. Sorry. Yeah, somebody had a question? So if your client wants to commit suicide, please let him, but see that he has enough margins to cover it. So no matter whatever analysis you do, whatever you know from the company, it might not. Yesterday the market was, I spoke to Kaushik Dani. I speak to him every day. Now I had news that the Infi results are going to be bad, the guidance is going to be cut. So he told me, this is live what has happened yesterday. He's saying, everybody's saying the same thing. I told him something is wrong, Infi will go up. It didn't happen that way and Infi went up like mad. So whenever there's an event risk, advise your clients not to take positions. If he still wants to commit suicide, you see to that you protect yourself by margins and stop loss. There is no way. Okay, Infosys first time was during market hours, but even when it happened before 9 o'clock, nothing prevents you from losing money. So do not take positions when there's an event risk. Even out of the money can be dangerous. If I remember correctly, a few years back, Infi went down by 1,500 points on one single day. So if you return deep out of the money, you'll still lose money. So event risk, stay away. It makes no sense. So at least now you have that level. You also have a stop loss. You can go long in futures. You can write puts. Buying calls is entirely up to you. Experience has shown out of 10 times, 6 to 7 times, you do not make money in buying options unless there is a big move. If there is a weekly breakout, there's a daily chart, daily is written on the side over here. If there's a daily breakout, fine. But if there's a weekly breakout, then you can recommend buying options, but in a small band. Because unless there is a big move, your time erosion will kill you. If you look at the options, if it's a Thursday and there's a long holiday, by the time of Monday, your time erosion has reduced your value of your option, and this keeps on happening. In the last, I think what, if you see this whole thing, in the last, since 1st of December approximately, or 9th of December, we've been moving in a range between 8,600 on the upside and 8,000 on the downside. And it's a very boxy sort of a thing. There's a 200 move, 300 move happening. This is where if it goes closer to 8,600, options of 3, you really do 5,800 call option downside. Your puts are always more expensive than the calls. When the elections were there in May, Nifty call options had a volatility of 42%, which is unbelievable. In situations like this, you can take a little bit of a risk, maybe 5% of your client portfolio, and explain to them that it's a high risk. Because even though the Modi government came to power, everybody knew that they were going to. Nobody knew that, I said, except Deven Bhai, nobody knew that they were going to come on their own. But everybody knew that the BJP was coming to power with their allies. Your 42% premium crashed to 25% in the next 2 trading sessions. So even if the Nifty went up, no, if it goes up 1,000 points, you're going to lose money no matter what. But if it didn't go up that much like it did and didn't sustain, your drop in the volatility has made money for you. So many times I've written put options in HUL. Stock prices 3 or 4 rupees below the value of the option, the strike price at 600. It's quoting at 597, but since I'd written it 15 days back, I still made money. I'm not suggesting you do something like that, but the advantage of writing puts and use stop loss levels. Okay, we've looked at trend lines. Now we also need to look at channels. Everybody is okay with trend lines? Any doubts, any queries? Don't come back to it later, come back now so we can go to the next point safely. Any doubts, any queries? However silly it might sound, I also started somewhere. Even I sounded silly to the guy whom I learned from. There's no such thing. Any queries? No, everybody's okay? Everybody can draw a trend line on their own? At least try, spend 15 minutes, half an hour for a few months, see whether it works. Okay, so we're looking at trend lines, and we are also looking at trend channels. If you have got the trend line right, you can plot a parallel line to the trend line and it becomes the trend channel, and that you need reversal points on the upside. Same logic applies, comes from experience, losing money, and it needs to work. Logic says that when it takes support on the lower boundary of the channel, the next move should most probably, out of 10 times, 7 times or 8 times, take it to the upper. If this is working, it works. It works wonderfully well. For Colgate, this has worked for 10 years. So you can buy at V1. Firstly, you need to have a channel in place. You need to buy at V1, sell at T2, buy again at V2. Nupur bhai, pani.
But then from this influence, how can we assume that the stock is gonna show some pressure at T2?
When you have drawn a channel, it's already working. See, your trend line is working. That is why you have the trend line in place. You draw parallel line to the trend line, okay, and then your trend channel. So you need to wait for once or twice to see whether it's working.
It's working in the channel.
Yeah, your trend line is fine. It's all, see, like you have a trend line. That is why you've managed to reach to the trend channel. So after you form the trend channel, it needs to work. How is it going to work? It's going to provide resistance. Like your lower line provides support, upper line resistance. So it needs to work. And for it needs to work, it needs to come down from there. It needs to come down once or twice before you can take a call that it's working. With lots of experience, you can anticipate, but I don't suggest that. You guys are, everybody is fresh and new. Do not anticipate, wait for actual results. So if this happens once or twice, you know it's working. Like I said, between 2003 and 2008, the support line for the Sensex or the Nifty, there was also a trend channel. So it worked for 5 years. So if anybody tells you the technical words for short term, give him one tight slap. 6 to 7 times not match, but the 3 or 4 times that they do, it makes up for the time that doesn't. I'm not telling you to disregard fundamentals. You use fundamentals to identify the stock and technicals to trade in it. But the times that they tally, I speak to Kisan Bhai on and off regularly, and he's a complete fundamental master. He's a grandmaster. Everybody is aware of that. The stocks he tells me, I meet him once every 3 weeks. The stock he tells me, out of 10 times, 7 to 8 times the stocks are matching technically. So whatever logic parameters he's using fundamentally is somewhere reflecting in technicals, because you can't have 10 out of 10 stocks, 7, 8 stocks looking great fundamentally and technically at the same time. It's a different matter that he's brilliant. Not everybody has access to such information, but like I said, when they match, they turned out to be a heady concoction. You can mint one. So in this case, we are looking at a trend channel, we are looking at a trend line. It comes to your support, you buy. It comes to your resistance, sell. You can also do that. If you have a working trend channel, you can sell calls, you can sell puts. Your channel becomes your stop loss. Once again, if your Nifty IVs are around 14 to 15%, fine. Lower than 11%, do not sell calls and puts. Will not make money. Because by mistake, if you go wrong, you will. There's nothing which prevents you from going wrong. But when you go wrong, you will lose money tremendously. But on such low IVs, if you're going to sell calls and puts, it's extremely dangerous. You will have nothing to gain. And when it goes the other way, you will lose lots. So below 13%, I don't think it makes sense to write calls and puts unless the commit harakiri. Doesn't make sense. 13% and above is fine. Around 14 to 15% is fine. If it goes to 17 and 18%, there has to be something wrong with the market. Nothing is wrong with the market. The market is always right. We go wrong. But the premiums in Nifty, like I told, individual stock options is 35%, 40%, even 62%. But when Nifty is concerned, where there is no event risk which is apparent to you, and the IVs are rising, there is something wrong. In the sense, there could be something happening which we are not aware of. Not everybody is identifiable. Everything is identifiable on the chart. So we look at T2 and B2. You also look for strength or weakness within the channel. Every time it comes to B, it should go to T. Every time it comes to T, it comes to B. This looks good on paper. Let's like Rahul Dravid batting. Not everybody can bat, or not every time the market is going to behave so decently. The market has a mind of its own. So in this case, the first sign of weakness comes in when it doesn't go to the upper boundary of the channel. It happens. First sign of potential weakness coming in. Should you act on it? No, you need to wait. What you can do is don't go long. Do not go short until there's a break of the trend line. You cannot anticipate like this. It makes no sense. So when T4 happens, first indication that the trend is weakening. The trend will weaken. It can't go on endlessly. So when T4, when after T4, when that lower boundary of the when this lower boundary of the channel breaks, you have a potential trend reversal. Now in 15 minutes, I'm assuming you all have become experts. Now please tell me how to trade this.
Below B3. Tell below B3.
Okay, so below B3.
Tell below.
Not agree. Agreed. Right. Stop loss target.
T4.
Right, absolutely. I'm not poking fun. I just want feedback from you all so I know what your thought process is. When it turns from T4, T4 becomes your stop loss first. Whenever you take a trade, stop loss comes in first, assuming you go wrong. Prepare mentally or your client and decide how much money he has to lose before taking a trade. Before your target, your stop loss comes in. If your stop loss doesn't come in, don't trade. You want to stay in the market or you want to go home bankrupt. Doesn't work that way. Firstly, identify. So your T4 becomes your stop loss, plain and simple. It becomes your stop loss when? Like he said, after this breaks. Till this doesn't break, it means nothing. And one more thing, after this breaks, it's not sacrosanct. And closes above this level again, it still maintains the positive view. So you need to be proactive. If you've taken a position, you do not sit over it saying nothing happens. Like he said, your first and your first target will be B3 because that is your support level. You draw horizontal line, extend it. That's where you cut 50% of your position no matter what. You need to book some profits, take it home. So here, stop loss in the sense, the money that you made can make you wait for a slightly longer time. And more importantly, if you identify the move correctly, you should not lose money on the trade, no matter how small it may be. Psychologically, it's important. If you shorted it right and you still lose money on the trade, next time you'll fumble. You won't know what to do. However small it may be, take some profits home. It has to give you emotional satisfaction and confidence that you got it right and you made money after getting it right. If you got it right and still made losses, mentally you are psyched. You will not be able to trade the next time. So book 50% of your profits at that B3. It will most probably bounce back. And when that bounces, I would change my stop loss. Any suggestions from your side? Yes. You will not wait till T4. घर में पानी आए तब तक नहीं बैठेंगे. This is not a tsunami. We are here to make money. And on a right call, you cannot lose money. You wait for this. In case of a bounce, you cut 50% of your position here. You wait for this point. If it comes there and you see it going up, square off your position. You do not for T4.
What if the trend line goes above the T4? It will take days.
This will happen in a, if it happens on the monthly chart, it will happen in the next 2 months. If it happens on the daily, it will happen in the next 4 trading sessions. So it will not make that much of a difference in this. You're absolutely right. It might come back, and by that time, the trend line must be about T4. But T4 is your important point if the trend line is above that. Absolutely valid question. And see, finally, like I said, your gut feel. Are the oscillators, are the mechanical indicators, is the moving averages, rest of the market? And one more thing, if you're looking at the Nifty, it's fine. But if you're looking at the individual stocks, BSE, NSE both have sectoral indices. You need to look at them first before you look at the stock. If the sector itself is in trouble, why do you want to identify the stock? If I'm doing index management, then I will do that. ITC down, lever up 100 points. That is utter rubbish. I should not be talking like this, but it's a fact. This is nothing but index management. See, we are in the market, we have to live with it. All politicians are corrupt, can't help it. We still vote for them, right? So you cannot avoid it, but you need to keep it in the back of the mind. Hindustan Lever goes up 100 points, just like that. It's a 1 rupee stock, for God's sake. So all these things happen. You need to be prepared for everything. You need to be prepared for playing test matches, 20-20, 1 day, and maybe even 5-5 and 10-10. So in this case, your stop loss becomes dynamic. It changes with circumstances and you need to adjust accordingly. Any doubts on what we've done?
Just one question which most of the investors have. Typically, તમે કીધું કે B3 का तो T2 पर 50% book करेगा. Okay, but nobody wants to close on a winning trade. So what is an ideal point where actually one has to book everything? Means how much more can you foresee below B3?
This, what I'm telling you, would be good for us because we'll make more brokerage. You square off 50% B3, the bounce will come, would come. Will is a very dirty word in technical analysis. There's always chances. So after the bounce, when it breaks B3 again and closes, short again. Client is happy, we are happy. Brokers make money.
So my question is a little different. What percentage or what sort of downside one can expect below B3?
It depends on the time frame you're looking at. जो तमें आप daily chart जोता हो तो it's a different time frame. If you're looking at the weekly chart, it could, if it's a yearly chart, it could mean 1000 Nifty points in 5 months.
Are there some sort of technical point that you can go down to B2 or T1 or something?
I'm not sure if sorry.
P3, B3
first wave, second wave, one odd even. The odd one
या ब्रेकआउट કર્યું એટલું એ ચેનલમાં આવી શકે you will aim from my target set choice.
Absolutely. I didn't want to confuse people. What you can also do is you take the height of the channel. Height. You take a ruler. Measure the height of the channel. It's like this. Okay. Take this, minus it from the point about, and you get a price target. There are lots of other ways to do that also, but I didn't want to initially confuse you guys because there are a lot of cross references. One frame for the time frame, that much more. And like I said, B3, see, if this has happened over a period of time, B3 will not hold very easily. If this is the daily chart, you look at the weekly. What we saw on the daily chart, it did exactly this, like this, came down, took support at B3 and started going up. That's because we are in a long-term uptrend. We've entered a bull market after 6-7 years of doing nothing. So it takes some time. So when there is a bigger uptrend in place, you need to be alert and you need to square off your position in B3. And after that, if B3 breaks again, further downside is a distinct possibility. Any doubt? Trend line channels. Everybody can draw channels and trend lines and trade on them.
Somebody has a position at B3. So he should square off his position while breaking the trend line, or he should wait till the
Its position over here. Minute this breaks, closing. Sometimes closing in our markets mean losing your trousers, but you can't get helped because it might take support on that line and go back again. That is a risk. That is entirely up to you and your gut feel what you're going to do at that time, your instinct. Nothing on earth can tell you, nothing on technical analysis can tell you कि वो पक्का तोड़ेगा कि नहीं तोड़ेगा. That is bullshit. People can give you all sort of stories that's nonsense. That way. So you need to be practical. If it closes below the trend line, you're out. Everybody's okay with all this? We reverse the scenario completely. We look at lower tops and
Normally, while trading this part of the channels or trend line, normally as a technical analyst, what is the risk reward you take? What it is advisable that what risk reward ratio should be set?
Actually, I would trade just on trend lines and channels. I use 8 things before I come to a simple conclusion. Even everybody is here in the morning con call. Sometimes you ask questions. It takes me 2 or 3 seconds to normally respond. Sometimes I don't find a stock because the spelling is different in my software. In that 2-3 seconds that you tell me and I look at the stock, I mentally calculated at least 8 things. That comes from experience. Like you said, the risk reward ratio you apply, but anytime in technical analysis, do not use just one technique. Look at trend lines, you look at volumes, you look at moving averages, you look at mechanical indicators, and the bigger picture in place, the sectors, the weekly, monthlies. So it's very relative. I don't know how I can answer your question with a, like I said, you need to use a lot more tools. Don't use, see, there are some 140 mechanical indicators. If you start to apply and analyze all of them, half will be a sell, half will be a buy, and nothing is going to happen. So over a period of time, you need to shortlist which one works, which one doesn't. And how is it going to work? After the buy, does it the stock go up? After the sell, does it go down? Simple, like your trend lines. Third time when it takes support and bounces back, that's your validity test. Do not apply anything without validity. There is no such thing as a free lunch in life. It all comes with experience. We'll come back to the same thing, losing money. So I think it's very relative. Like I said, this is just the beginning. You need to use a variety of technical oscillators, but they should be concise. Are you going to write a book? Are you going to give a lecture? No. There are ways to calculate. We don't want to learn how to calculate. We look at interpretation. The computer gives you everything ready-made. If you're doing handmade charts, then you require that. Like I said, you need to shortlist, and it's a very disciplined thing. Out of those 10 things, if 7 or 8 things give you a buy, you buy. If it gives you a sell, you sell. Anytime it's in between, do not. So we were looking at falling trend lines and channels. Everybody's okay with what we've done up till now? So everybody can draw a trend line. No, but seriously speaking, I don't think that's possible in just 15 minutes, but you need to try it 20 minutes every day. If you have access to a software, do that over a period of time and do it for 6 months before you think you are Amitabh Bachchan. Your first success could be a fluke. Your second could be a fluke. If your third is there, that's when you take yourself seriously. There is no market in the world where you use money faster than in the stock market. I mean, that includes currencies, equities, whatever. No business. So you need to be careful of the downside first. We're looking at following trend lines and channels. Everything is the same, but we have inverted the scenario. Lower tops, lower bottoms. Now I'm sure everybody can tell me how to trade, what to do. Any suggestions? Stop loss targets? Sorry? Okay. First time, this is where we see a strength within a channel. It didn't come down till here. Here, this buy. But in this case, out of 10 times, there has to be higher volume. Volume on an upward breakout is paramount. You do not give leeway. There has to be higher volume. And if you still act, there has to be a super sharp stop loss. Volumes on a downward breakout might not match. In the sense, volume has to be higher. In this case, in fact, volume should probably be higher than the last few trading sessions, assuming there's a daily chart. So volumes have to be significantly higher, otherwise it's not valid, especially in an upward breakout. Downside, fine. Most of the people don't like going short. Some people think it's morally wrong. I have had people, I think it's wrong. Now, all that is very relative, but because of that, you don't have very many people participating in a short. See, we don't have to look what they're thinking. We're just looking at volumes. So a low volume downward breakout could be valid, while we don't give that exception in a breakout on the upside. There has to be higher volume. So your B4 becomes your stop loss, and after this becomes your stop loss. T3 is where you'll book 50% of the profits. So all of us make money. Comes down, wait, crosses T3 again, you go long again. Second time around, we'll do some patterns and stuff. So I don't want to confuse that now, but there are lots of other tools also which can help you in identifying this breakout, maybe even before it happens, or at least reconfirm your breakout at the time it happens. There are lots of tools. We're looking at horizontal trend lines. Keep one thing in mind, that horizontal trend lines are technically stronger than upward or downward slanting.
These are more predictable, tradable.
Yes, and I think these are very basic. These are very important if you want to make clients do anything. They become your support resistance levels. Make them buy on breakouts, sell on breakdowns, write calls and puts accordingly, make them trade within the range. Extremely important. Once again, you need 2 points to draw the line, 2 reversal points. After that, you need to extend it. That's when you get your confirmation. The longer this takes, that much more potent the move will be after there's a breakout. There is nothing on planet Earth which is going to tell you which side is going to break out. But experience has shown, if this happens after the stock has gone from down to up, it will most probably be a continuation pattern and give an upward breakout. But once again, we need to wait for that to happen. In the meantime, you can trade in between these lines. Okay, suppose this lower boundary is 100, upper boundary is 120. Any suggestions on how we would trade, or a stop loss or a target? Any ideas besides the usual volume parameters and stuff we've spoken about? Sorry. Okay, if this is 100 and this is 120, so if it breaks out on the upside, breaks out on the downside, what would be your target and why?
140 would be your
Downside?
80.
Okay, can you explain to people why you got the target?
That is the width of the channel or the height of the channel.
Lower.
Absolutely. You have taken the 20 points within the trading range and taken that and added to the point of breakout. Everything is fine. In this case, we are looking at a perfectly horizontal line. At the back of your mind, you need to keep point of breakout. तो हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन कहीं पे भी ब्रेकआउट देगा वो सेम ही है, तो आपको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. लेकिन ये अपवर्ड या डाउनवर्ड स्लैंटिंग है तो 2-3 रुपए का फर्क पड़ सकता है. If a stock goes ex dividend, your trend lines will have to adjust according to the dividend. You might not remember this, but what happens is when the breakout comes in, it might confuse you in the sense it might give you a false move up or down. So if this is slanting like this, it's perfect, it's fine. If it's going up or down, you need to use the point of breakout and then add the width of the channel. It might make a difference of 2-3 rupees. Might.
No, anyway, once this type of event on either side the breakout happens, can the trade be in a manner that we book 50% at the target price? That is the height of the channel or the width of the channel. And the second is running. If it is breakout on the upper side.
Absolutely fine. But which time frame you need to keep in mind? If this is a daily chart and the weekly is positive, you hold on. Because simply because the
It should be in sync with the bigger
motor time no picture positive che, so we don't have a problem. So apne ko hold karna hi hai. That's not fine. After trading, you can, like I said, you can even buy it back if it comes on and crosses again. But always pay respect simply because there is more data traded over there. More people have more shares of change hands. So if the weekly chart is positive, or if this is on the weekly and the monthly chart is positive, it's fine. We've already indirectly done this in terms of supports, resistances. If it's a new listing, which is a nightmare for people like me, I don't have levels. There's something of being in the market going on about a stock called Intellect Design. Everybody gone bonkers, it's going to go up, it has gone up 20% circuit. Fine, there is always information that it's going to still go up from here. But as a technical analyst, I'm blind. You need to have a bit fundamental because it's a new listing. I don't have data. What am I going to base my analysis on? You can't look at intraday charts and say come out. I'm not saying you do not take positions in such a stock, but you have to look at fundamentals because for the next 2-3 months it's not going to help. Longer the data you have, that much more important it's going to be. Ideally, you want 5 or 10 years of data. The new listings, obviously, that's not going to be there. So you need to be ultra careful in taking positions. At that point in time, round figures work psychologically. 100, 150, 200. Mentally you say 100 का भाव आए तो मैं बेच दूंगा. Nifty 10,000 होगा तो मैं portfolio में से इतना I'll sell. You know, people tend to do that. So round figures have psychological and technical importance. The first time around. Second time around, okay, the Nifty has reversed from a round figure. Second time around, does it? That means it's a valid level. Time around it was psychological. The second test confirms it to be technical. If you have a single move where there's a number of shares which have changed hands, whether it's a block deal or whether a lot of trading has happened on that per day, that point is more valuable than small multiple times. If we were looking at these support resistance levels within the channels, over here, let's say, you know, year and year, volumes were higher than normal but not exceptional. At this point in time, over here, if there's very high volume in that one day, which might be slightly different from these two, then you pay more respect to the place where there's been a single high volume day. Because share changing hands have been in substantial quantity. Weak or strong to weak, the guy itself is big, whether the guy was sold or the guy was bought. So you will pay attention and respect to the volume where a big guy has bought or sold then the smaller activity. So it might not be okay. Now we are looking at this level. Your let's say there's been 10,000 shares traded, there's been 10,000 shares traded, and at this third point, which might not be the same point as the earlier one, but if 1 lakh shares have been traded over, this becomes more important than these two.
Then how can we make difference whether it's just the volume is just because of a block deal or something, or normal volumes heavy?
See, now you have the data of block deals. Earlier we didn't have that.
Yes.
You look at the end of the day at the volume spike. If there's significantly higher volume, you have to pay attention to that. And once again, in this case, this has to be on a higher volume. This might be on a lower volume. Downward breakouts, the volumes do not technically supposed to, but that is hypothesis. You're practical. So lower breakout on a lower volume on the downside is okay, but on a higher side, we need higher volume.
And suppose if on a downward channel, when it is even a downward much higher, do we aggressively short or do we?
Yeah, you can aggressively remain in place. And like if it's 100 and 120, everybody said it's 140. Expect profit booking at 140. Out of 10 times, 8 times, it will correct from 140. It might not come to 120. It probably shouldn't. Everything happens in markets, but ideally it should not. It will probably come 30, 130 to 120 and start bouncing back again. But a correction from that level is a very distinct possibility. We've already done this indirectly in the sense when we started doing these support resistance levels. Like Kaushik Bhai was saying, if there is a pullback, it could be higher than the earlier point that we were talking about. Very practical question. So in this case, what you're going to do is, you take this, extend the line which will come here. So you are long over there. You cannot trade every move, look for an answer in every move. You are not God, you cannot go right all the time. If you're giving a commentary like I do on TV, you have to just bullshit. I have to because I don't have a choice. Or if it's the anchor, they get paid to open them out. I don't. But thing is, you cannot justify every random activity every time. You cannot apply technical rules and logic every time. It could be just like that. It doesn't matter. You had a fight with your wife, you've gone and shorted the stock. It had no logic in it. It's a different matter. So do not attach reason to every random movement. They might or might not have technical significance. So you cannot even trade every move. It's not physically possible. So in this case, if it's broken the trend line like this, if it's a longer term trend line, you tend to take that very serious. Rather than participate, you need to draw the trend line to keep in mind that is turning bullish. But rather than participate and going long, you wait for the pullback and wait for a cool off to come in. Simply because if this trend line has been valid for a long time, a trend reversal has taken place, it will not get reversed very easily. Anything is possible, but it will not get reversed very easily. So rather than get very bullish at that point in time, wait for the pullback and see whether this trend line is overcome. And you also have this level. By chance, this and this are the same, then at the risk of sounding slightly dangerous, you can go short over there with a stop loss. You have two levels. One, you have the trend line, which is a lower boundary, which will now act as resistance, and the previous reversal point if it is significant enough. So if you don't want to short over there, this could also be a point that you can sell slightly out of the money call options, keeping this as your stop loss. Sorry.
And this is a double top or what?
See, normally the word double top and head and shoulders are the most abused terms in the realm of technical analysis. I still use head and shoulders as a shampoo. Half of the guys, including the guys who come on TV, don't know what a head and shoulder is. Normally, it happens after an extended period of time. In the double top, like you're saying, a double top is valid only if it's 3 to 4 weeks apart and it made this top, it made this bottom, made this top. After here, only when this top bottom breaks is your double top valid and confirmed. So technically, a double top is completely different from how it is used in media. You can say previous high, but ये आपका top था, यहाँ पे आया, it came back here. Till it doesn't, your double top is not confirmed. It's technically not a double top, and by the time it becomes too late, if you're a trader, it's a big distance. So technically, double top yes, but it gets confirmed only when this breaks after this pullback. Any doubts what we've done? So,
You said that channel with, you gave an example of this, that 90 channel. Could you change in particular stocks and what would be the reason for that?
it depends. Your size of your channel could change from stock to stock, and if it's an illiquid stock, sometimes your channel might get broken on the upside and downside. You have to take the average line. If it's Britannia, if it's Myco, if it's MRF, some guy buying and selling, it will make no sense. And do not apply technicals to stock. I can give you a few examples. Asian Paints, Nestle, Myco, Indian Shaving, Procter & Gamble. Very illiquid, few people hold the stocks and they've been uptrend for the last 30 years. So do not apply logic to those. It doesn't matter. But yes, every stock could move slightly differently like you're saying, and the size of the channel could change completely depending on how the stock moves. But yes, these channels could be on the daily, intraday, weekly and monthly also. Yes, yes. Like I said, bigger the time frame, that much more important it is going to be, and that much more time it will take. So you know what you can do is, if such a formation happens on the monthly chart, it gives an upward breakout, so you have a fair idea that the next few months are going to be positive. So you can also make your go long, and then every fall next to a support level, you can make them trade in that, because you know that the next few months are going to be positive. So if the bias is positive, you have that much more confidence that daily में अगर नीचे level के पास आ गया तो मैं ले लूँ, stop loss रख दो, चल गया वापस. You know, you can be more active in the stocks where you have something like this.
Sir, how to identify the T1 level? What happens is, as an investor, we buy and the T3 never comes. We think that T1 2 happen, so T3 will happen.
See, like I said, more of it comes more from experience. And if you have been in a very mature uptrend, we don't have the time, and we are not looking at that right now, because there are various other tools which I told you will help you in identifying a reversal point or weakness before you reached. I don't think I can technically answer your question as of now. Maybe 3 sessions later, and I think even you can also tell me yes, why. Because I don't want to confuse the 4th chapter on the first day. But like I said, more importantly, it comes only from experience. And like I told you, when you're asking me, I'm looking at 8 things at the same time. So you have a fair idea of a probability. See, it's not going to go, even after all that, we still go wrong. I've been bullish on Adani Enterprises for the last whole month. It gave an upward breakout with a false move and then came down. So I changed my channel.
I was thinking on myself, that thinking 2 times, I made mistake in first time.
See, stocks tend to get overbought after they have a run up, which we'll probably do later. So when they're overbought, risk reward ratio is not in your favor, you can technically see it. Though they may be an uptrend. See, it's something like this. If you look at Adani Enterprises, what, from 128 or something, the next move started from 213, it went to 580 odd. It has peaked on 16th May, the day Mr. Modi won the election officially. 16th May, and today we are on what, 10th of January. अभी तक correction खत्म हुआ नहीं है. अभी I can tell you first indication में correction शायद खत्म हो गया है. But you go back to what this has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So till mid-December. So from 16th May to mid-December, it's 7 months and it still hadn't finished that correction. So the thing is, even though stock is good, if you buy it at the wrong time, you will have to suffer for 7 months, and you cannot have a forward position for 7 months. Your client will kill you for rolling over. It's not physically possible. So either you anticipate or you trade in the meantime, you take delivery. or you wait for the breakout to happen. And in our markets, typically after the breakout happens, there's one false move on the downside. तो आपका जिसका भी लेन है सबका फोड़ाने के लिए नीचे आएगा. But then that's we live it. These are false or whipsaws. More often than not, you see a false move in the sense it gives a close above a particular level, which is a resistance level or a breakout level, and it still goes the other way. You match your volumes, you match your trend lines, you match your mechanical indicators. Nothing prevents you from this. This will cause you to lose money. You be careful. Your stop loss will get caught both the ways. You know, there are people who keep reverse stop losses. ये इसके ऊपर बंद आया तो go long. I do that many times. So I go long. Next week it comes down, breaks the level. So your ऊपर का भी गया, नीचे का भी गया, and nothing prevents you from that. Nothing. If you say that I've been doing this for a long time, 24 years now, 25 years, but even then, whatever you do, nothing. That is plain bad luck and it can't be helped. False moves happen, and they happen. Yeah. Now, what is going to happen is if you are okay, we are not doing averages now, but if you look at the smaller time frame, the false moves will be more. In the sense, if you're looking intraday charts, the false moves will be more. If you look at the daily, the false move will reduce. If you look at the weekly, they'll reduce again. If you look at the monthly, they'll reduce again. Shorter the time frame, that much more volatile the stock is going to be, and that much more times you are going to go wrong, simply because the signals generated are going to be much more. See, it's like you're beating the odds. You can't go right all the time. If you're a technical analyst, if you're new, out of 10 times, if you're right 5 times, I think it's a big achievement. Over a period of time, if you're right 7 to 8 times, you're brilliant. Nobody's right 10 out of 10. It's just not possible. So in this case, nothing. But if you have in mind a bigger time frame in place, maybe then you can adjust and trade accordingly. But a false move or a whipsaw will make you lose money no matter what. It's unavoidable. Okay, we're looking at reversals. These are called bar reversals. They are also called key reversals. In this case, it's called simple and perfect, but we'll stick to a bar reversal and a key reversal rather than simple and perfect. That will be extremely complicating. I will go to the actual chart and then we'll come back to the theory. When the stock price, in this case, you look at the Nifty, whatever, when the stock price goes above the previous day's high, comes back and closes below the previous day's close, that is a downward key reversal. When the stock price goes above the previous day's high, comes back and closes below the previous day's close, that is a downward key reversal. And this is your example over here. Stock price gone above the previous day's high, has come back and closed below the previous day's close. Everybody's okay with what a bar chart is, right? I'm not a candlesticks guy, I'm sticking to bar charts. Your left is your opening, Saturday high low, OHLC, open high low close chart. In this case, we have seen a downward key reversal. In those technically confusing terms, it's a simple bar reversal, but we'll stick to a downward key reversal. The stock price has gone above the previous day's high, has come back and closed below the previous day's close. If the stock price goes above the previous day's high, comes back and closes below the previous day's low, that is a downward bar reversal. Once again, volume parameters apply. If there is significantly higher volume, that is more. Normally, bar reversals happen perfect. I mean, these are key reversals. Everybody is okay with what a key reversal is, firstly. Yeah, this is the key reversal. Everybody is okay with the key reversal. Doubts, ask now. Everybody is okay? if you see over here, we saw downward key reversal, upward key reversal. When the stock price goes below the previous day's low, comes back and closes above the previous day's close, that is an upward key reversal. Once again, we need volume. You applied volume criteria, you identify the reversal, but even after all this, it's a reversal. Down to up to down, it's a reversal. So it means stock prices move in the opposite direction of the previous trend. Keep that in mind. So after the reversal forms, next day it has to cross the high of the reversal point. Otherwise, it's not valid. You have applied all criteria, applied it, it works, but we have to see price action. Follow up buying नहीं होता है तो नहीं टिकेगा, for whatever the reason. So in this case, after this key reversal, it opened over here, but when it crosses this, point, okay, that is when your upward key reversal is actually working, and that closing or the high becomes your stop loss. Giving a lecture is one thing, applying trading tactics is another. Capital preservation, your client loses money, he's not going to come back to you again. So once it crosses that top or the closing becomes your stop loss, no matter what. If it means getting બેવ સાઈડ છોલાઈ ગયા દિવસમાં ચાલશે, ક્લાયન્ટના પૈસા જવા નહીં જોઈએ, કારણ કે જો બેઠા રહ્યા તો ઘર જમાઈ થઈ જશે, ટ્રેડિંગનું ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ થશે, ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટનું ટ્રેડિંગ થઈ જશે ને 2 વર્ષ ગલાવા માલ ને કોઈ દિવસ નીકળશે નહીં. So basic criteria of protecting your capital, however way, despite all this you still could go wrong, but the basic underlying criteria of protecting the client's money remains. You identify the stock, you identify the reversal, but it has to work. How is it going to work? ऊपर जाना है बॉस, तेजी किया है तो जाना तो चाहिए, वो प्रीवियस डे का हाई आपका स्टॉप लॉस बनना ही चाहिए, नो मैटर व्हाट. In this case, it opened, okay, it opened at this particular point and came down. But you see how these things work. Mildly, marginally below the closing, it immediately bounced back. If it's opened at that particular level, you still don't know what to do. See, we are looking at it happening sometime back. Actually, during market hours, this is not going to be easy for you. तो जो खुला है, उसके बाद it came down. If you still haven't taken a position, wait for it to cross that day's opening. Yes, no? You identified everything. It's open at that. It opened at 122. It's gone to 118. When it crosses 122 again, it's a reiteration that whatever hard work you've done is correct. By then, 122 for a very sharp stop loss. 118 becomes your stop loss without a doubt. वो फूटा तो खड़ा नहीं रहना है. Short करना नहीं करना है secondary. You cannot stand when it goes against your move. Looked at downward key reversals. Now let's look at an upward key reversals. Let's look at bar reversals. Okay. See, here is an upward key reversal. Here is a downward key reversal. Here is a downward key reversal. Not every downward key reversal is actable. When this happens after a run up or a run down with volume and 5 other things are telling you, then it acquires additional significance. Once again, I'll repeat the same thing. You cannot trade on just one thing. Over a period of time, you have to develop your own trading system. I use 8 things. You might use 5. You might use 10. I cannot dictate. Somebody likes a car with automatic gears. I can't handle touchscreen phones. My kid can. I can't. I still don't use touchscreen phones. नहीं जमता है. Candlesticks नहीं जमता है. When I was learning, I didn't get candlestick material. I don't use candlesticks. At the risk of sounding pompous, I don't need it. My bar reversals are giving me fantastic results. If he's using candlesticks, works for him. I'm not going to tell him go to bars. You use whatever works for you. What works for me might not work for you. And what works for you might not work for me. That's fine. It's your individual style. So now we look at downward and upward bar reversals. This is a downward bar reversal. Everybody is okay with that? Almost. It's not crossed that perfectly. It's not crossed that perfectly. It almost did. This chart is updated till yesterday, so we're looking at the latest chart. Now in this case, Nifty weekly chart, we have seen a downward key reversal coming on the weekly chart. See over here, it gave an upward key reversal. It gave a downward key reversal. Now look at this, a downward key reversal, you would get bearish, logic says you would, okay? But ये जो closing था, closing के नीचे भी नहीं गया है, तो गलत हो सकता है. You need, see, I don't expect you to follow all this in just half an hour, but you need to keep these minds and apply it, spend time over it. Like I said, 15 minutes, no, spend 2 hours every day for 6 months, then look at this more seriously. So your downward key reversal didn't work. Now we've seen a downward key reversal coming here. Will it work? I think so, but levels टूटना चाहिए. 80 to 10 50 स्पॉट गया तो एक बार बैंड बजेगा. 80 to 90 के ऊपर मंडे को बंद आके चलता है, फाइन. Difficult but not impossible. Now derivatives also. I was happy without derivatives. I didn't need to follow something else. Cash market I'm very happy. सिर्फ चार्ट भी दिखेगा. Open interest, call, put, अरे फलाना दिखना छोड़ो यार. I'm an old fashionable analyst. मेरे को नहीं समझता ये सब. You have more data, you have to use it. I mean, that's not how you should actually be in real life. You have to assimilate everything, fundamentals, technical, derivatives, and finally come to a conclusion. So in this case, if 80 to 10 breaks, there's trouble around the corner. And if it sustains above 80 to 90, 80 to 90 then becomes a stop loss. I've already identified the level, that's why I'm telling you this. You need to do that also on your own. Like I said, if 16 lakh open interest in Nifty has reduced over the last 2 days, it does not show any reason why it's going to sustain. Funny things are known to happen. See over here, in this case, your downward key reversal worked perfectly. After that downward key reversal, it went down what, from 8,600 odd to below 8,000. Then it gave an upward key reversal. So with hiccups, that upward key reversal went from 8,200 to 84. See, you would not have bought at 8,000 because there was no reason. But if you bought at 8,200 plus, next week you would have been crying because it gave a downward key reversal. When it opens on Monday after that, at this point in time, it didn't break the previous week's close. So you are okay. Then that becomes your stop loss. Here we saw an upward key reversal which went completely wrong. Here we gave a downward key reversal but not a downward bar reversal. Here we gave a downward bar reversal. When the stock price goes above the previous day's high, comes back and closes below the previous day's low. Very good. Downward bar reversal. Bottom toda, फाड़ दिया. In this case, this was the low. So this was the close. Close and low are almost the same. So that's easier because you're tracking one level instead of two. It opens here, you still don't know what to do. It went down, you go short. This and this both overcome, your stop loss is triggered. To go long or no is a secondary thing. I don't know if everybody can trade both sides. It's not easy in an open market. This is on the hindsight. We are doing post-mortem and analysis. Very, very easy to talk. You're actually doing it, money, client, pressures. It's not simple. But forget going long, but at least cover your shorts. At least cover your shorts. So many times if you feel the markets are not looking right, don't want to short, but at least protect your longs or reduce your longs. Or at least don't buy fresh. You may not actually trade, but at least sometimes staying away from the market helps. Over here, this is almost the same level. This low, this closing, this opening. So this had to be your stop loss. And in this case, this is your weekly, this is your monthly. If you see this point, this is a monthly chart. You don't require rocket science to know कि यहाँ से market फट जाएगा. You had enough opportunity. You had multiple levels. If you see this over here, it's worked perfectly. Plus, it made a rounding bottom. I'll come to that later. Once again, I don't want to mishmash the topics. So you had n number of reasons why the market is breaking out from there at that point in time. Those levels have not yet come. And if we are in a true blue market, we possibly are. these levels shouldn't come for the next 3 years also. Maybe next 5 years, depends. We're doing only up till here. We've kept it short. Didn't want to bore you guys. Information overload on a Saturday. You all must be abusing me for coming and spoiling your Saturdays, but fine. That's about it. Any doubts on what we have done? Any doubts? Next time we'll do patterns. That should be more interesting. Those shampoos and stuff, head and shoulders and all, we cover.
Trend line which is violated on a longer time frame.
Bull market में नहीं है अभी. We are basically in a longer term uptrend. So past history I can show you. Not a problem. The lines are not happening because of the resolution problem, so they are not working like they should be. Okay, that also shifted a bit. This is your live. This is live in the sense these are the latest. This is Adani Enterprises. Monthly. It's broken out of a symmetrical triangle. Once again, we'll do that later. This line shifted a bit, but otherwise this would have connect this would have support. It would have been a support line. Breakdown, pullback, didn't cross the previous high, came down. Once this breaks, then you have a double top being confirmed, and see where it went. Upward key reversal coming in over here. Another upward key reversal, upward key reversal, upward key reversal, downward key reversal, upward key reversal, downward key reversal, upward key reversal, and finally, how many flip flops it made? If the levels hold. But there's a monthly chart. Monthly. It'll take time.
Usually for short-term investments, you could recommend to see monthly chart or a weekly chart or a 6 month or yearly chart.
Short term would be your short would be 3 months, 2 weeks, 6 months, weekly. Look at the weekly first and then look at the daily. Any doubts? So everybody can draw trend lines, channels, and identify bar and key reversals. That's it. Thank you. I hope it was helpful for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hemen.
Yeah, thank you.
First session was a little bit like we tried to keep it. पहले समझे कि क्या है. Why technicals are required. Fundamentally, nobody can beat it if you have a good grip on fundamentals. I believe that technicals came later on. When capital market started, it was people used to study the companies, study the fundamentals. Okay, technical.
I can argue.
Okay. I cannot argue with him.
I'm just joking.
But yes, Hemen by himself also confirmed that probably fundamental has larger play. And for that reason only probably I'll just request Kishan sir, because I believe nobody better than Kishan sir can explain what is fundamental all about and how to look at it. Please. बोला chat क्या पूछ रहे हो? अच्छा, okay. Just join us in 2 minutes. Any question for Hemen bhai? कोई काय पण समझ हुआ, काय पण सवाल हुआ है? If you will have this session, we have right now also kept it live. YouTube पे available होगा. You can re-watch this. I have shared the link of YouTube with everyone. Every second Saturday of every month, we are trying to have the continuous series of this. It will be available on YouTube so that those who cannot attend can also log into YouTube and watch this, because I believe that एक बार में शायद नहीं समझ में आएगा, तो घर जाके जब ट्रेंड लाइन देखते होंगे तब वापस सुनना होगा क्या बोला था हेमन भाई ने, कैसे रीड करने का. But idea is that if we have little bit knowledge, probably we can guide our clients or investors better. Predominantly, KRChoskey is not a technical organization, or we are not a trader-based company. So most of our clients are also investors. But now the times have changed. Algorithm plays much larger role than what we do. Probably the machine trades have overtaken the human trades. If you see the volume happening in Nifty, Bank Nifty, vis-a-vis volume happening in delivery base, there is a huge gap because people try to trade. Options volumes have picked up like tremendous in past years in derivative segments and everything. And probably, I think so you'll have a volumes also, I mean, like how much it happens on technicals and fundamentals, just to share.
See, if you look at the futures, I think the volumes are 10 times. So I think we should have had delivery settled, but I don't think we should argue with the authority. But yes, I think it's tremendously more than the English values.
Because there are a lot of things that we, our intention was that we had a lot of queries from even network partners and in fact clients as well calling us. We have few clients also today who attended this session, that markets is moving more or less on technical grounds more. Then why do we, we need some kind of assistance to understand the technicals, even the basics of that. So we thought, let's start with the first session where we give some kind of ideas about. इसमें से काफी लोग मैं जानता हूँ जो काफी advanced technical course करके भी बैठे हैं, but I'm really glad that they have come. They have cleared their master's level also. So we are thankful that people still try to take, and obviously people those who have done their master course are also here. So वो समझते हैं कि technical में nobody is master. Every time you learn different from people. And that's what even Hemen Bhai also said, that after so many years of experience, even he cannot be 100% sure all the times. But it does help. And if you can share, Hemen Bhai, how does it help when we?
I think if you're doing your own research, I mean, not only you learn, and so many times what happens is that your clients are asking you questions. I think that helps you learn even more. So many times, like somebody asked me a question right now, I don't think I could answer that, because I don't think I had an answer for that. So even now there's something more to learn, and technical is a challenge. There's something new every day.
Learning never ends.
Yes, it never ends, and it's like experience, and every time there's something new. Yeah, but the thrill of your analysis going correct gives you a high. I don't smoke or drink, so that gives me a high.
Can you suggest some simple software for the novice people who would like to?
I'm using this software called Trend. I've been using this for the last 24 years.
Trend.
Yeah, I've grown up with this. So I tried at Advanced Get, I used something else, I used Metastock. I've grown up with this, so I'm happy with Trend. The intraday version of this is known as Falcon. Iris were working with these people, now they started their own. Similar.
Probably we have tie-up with Falcon. If anybody is interested, let me know. We can just work out the copies, because few of our sub-brokers are using Falcon. They have bought through it, because we have the license lease line copy also and internet copy also. So we can just work out. If all of you all really feel that you need a software at office, please let us know. We can always talk to Falcon team, because we are using Falcon from years. We have few licenses also negotiated with them. So they have two versions. One is lease line, which works at our office. An alternate one is on probably internet. So we can always look at procuring the license in case if you all need. You can just take help of our team and they will assist you with the same. There's no issue. For both the offices we have Falcon, so probably that will help. Okay, that's a common software used in industry, Falcon. Most of people prefer that, and probably widely used. So we had a tie with Falcon. So Amit and all, they use Falcon at our office for day-to-day purposes, for charts and everything. Any questions, any queries? Anything? See, also, if you feel that this session has to be more in deep or thoda basic samjhana chahiye, so we can work on that when we come to the next session, because for us also it's a one-time experience. So if we can have that.
Sir, we are all here together today to increase our skill of doing business. Education and knowledge empowers our mind. So education and knowledge is very much required to empower our mind. Before we start, I would like to give my background. I am commerce graduate. I passed my BCom in the year 1960 from Podar College of Commerce, and then entered the stock market in the year 1961 and joined our family firm KRChoskey and Company as a partner. When I joined the stock market, the speculation was the prime thing. Nobody was looking at the fundamentals at that time. But I had a different mindset. I started in a different way. So at that, in my office, I used to call the balance sheets. I used to attend the AGMs, meeting the management, and also visiting the factories. So all this increased my knowledge about the market. What encouraged me to work hard in my initial life, I observed that society gives respect to the people who are having knowledge or having money. When I joined the market, and at that time my financial position was not so strong, so I thought which way I should adopt to increase my respect in the society. So I went for the knowledge route, and that encouraged me to work hard in my life. Smile. From my experience in the stock market, I have prepared a small note on lessons for equity investment. Before we start that, I would like to know from the people sitting here that in the last week there are so many developments. Can any of you can tell me what were the important developments of the market? Which are the companies which has announced stock split, results, or anything which is worth knowing and helping yourself to know the plan to increase the business. So whether that is happening or not, I think I will have to get later on. I will ask you. First, we have to understand the stock exchange, its importance for the economy, industry, and also the investors. We all know that the stock exchange is a platform for raising money by the corporate from the investors through private and public issues and get the shares listed on the stock exchange for the ultimate benefit of promoters and investors. For any country, stock exchange is very important entity for raising funds from the people and utilize it for the growth of the companies and the economy. We all may be knowing that previously the face value of the share used to be 100, then announced that it should be rupees 10, and then later on the stock split was permitted to enhance the liquidity in the market, and now we are allowed to split the shares from rupees 10 to 5, 2 and 1. According to me, the investment in shares is not an easy job. While one might like to go with the herd, but it is not the best approach. So you have to identify the industry where there is a potential things are going to happen for the better, and then you shortlist the company. The second thing that we need to look is the promoters, because if the promoters are good, then only the company will do well. And how you can find out that the promoters are good or bad? You have to go through the track record of the promoters and how they have taken forward the company and rewarded the investors. You have also to look when you are selecting a company, what are the growth plans of the company, what technology that company is having, so that they may be more successful than all the players in the industry. We in stock market look at the financials, but my personal experience says that knowledge of industry is also very much necessary for the successful investment, because we generally in the stock market look at the financials of the company balance sheet. When you look, we only look at the majority of the people are looking at the financials, but knowledge of industry is very much necessary, because first, if you want to identify a particular sector, then you should know the industry. Say, I can give you the names of the industry. The list is long, but to get a good picture in your mind, I may say there are various industries, and I begin with pharma, bank, non-banking finance companies, information technology, automobile and automobile ancillary, tires and tubes, then FMCG, zinc, aluminum, steel and alloy steel, iron ore, optic fiber and cables, chemical and petrochemicals, oil and gas, plastics, fertilizer, infrastructure, cigarette, tea, coffee and water, insurance and aviation. Still the list is very long, but these are the major important industries where the things are happening. Then today the world has become a global village. So not only you have to know the Indian economy, Indian industry, but also you have to know the global situation, global industry, how it is working and how it will affect our companies and our economy. So one should have a global perspective to be very successful. In global situation, knowledge of currencies is very much necessary, because we in stock market see that the fluctuations in currencies affect the working of the company. The currency you may be knowing, they are dollar, rupees, pound, yen, ruble. It, we can take an example of a recent reduction in the oil price. This has proved beneficial for a country like India and China, because we are importing oil in a major way. 80% of our requirement is met by import. So the fall in oil prices helped our country to reduce our cost and also import bill. But the oil producing countries like Russia, they have suffered the most, because their entire economy is dependent on oil, and when the oil prices went down, their resources went down, and so Russia has to devalue its ruble. Then they had to increase the interest rate from 10% to 75 in this difficult situation. That also affected some of our companies, because Russia is a big market, say for pharmaceutical industry from this country. So those companies which are exporting to Russia, they are likely to get affected, because the import from Russia will go down. Further, to enhance our knowledge and skill, we have to read financial papers on a daily basis. Then, over and above that, you are suggested to open your TV at 7 o'clock in the morning. It gives you closing rates of USA market. It also gives you Singapore Nifty. It also gives you rupee dollar rate. And it also gives oil prices. What is the trend of the oil prices? All these are very important factors for when the market opens on the next day. So your day begins at 7 o'clock in the morning to be very successful. Channels are giving interviews of number of industrialists. They are calling the export people on the TV, and they ask them questions about the company and the industry. So basically, I think that is a very good thing, because it gives you current situation of the economy. Say, if managing director of a company is interviewed, then he is giving answers about his company, and then if a major player in the economy, then it also gives you idea about the working of the industry also and the company also. So you have to give, as a analyst or as a student of the capital market, to know this thing very closely. So you will say that during the daytime we are dealing, so we don't get time. Then the moneycontrol.com, CNBC, after taking interview, they are giving transcript on the moneycontrol.com. So when you find time, you should go through it so that you get the current knowledge of the company and the industry. Those who are getting time, I think my recommendation is that one should attend the AGM of the company, if possible, also analyst meet, and also attend the conference call held by the companies. If possible, and if you get an opportunity, one should visit the factories also to get the first-hand knowledge of the industry. What you will read in the balance sheet, may I ask you? So generally we read director's report, but today it is compulsory that management discussion is given in the balance sheet. So if you go through the management discussion, it will give you better idea about the industry, the details of the company's working, and also their future prospects. So that is very important thing that one should try to read in the balance sheet to know more about the company. In balance sheet, if you read, there are possibility of manipulation on 2 points. One is in stock, and another is in receivables. Here, there may be chartered accountants, they can show the profit of the company even though it is making loss. And so it is very much necessary to try to see that receivables of the company are healthy, their cash flow is good. And according to me, rather than we have to look at the profit and loss account, but cash flow statement is always given in the balance sheet. I think it is coming on the last pages. It should come on the first page because that is the real picture of the company, because the cash flow gives you idea about the financial health of the company. So I think majority of the people may not be looking at the cash flow of the company. And my sincere advice is that you should look at the cash flow of the company to identify the real health of the company. We all are knowing that currently the government is trying to implement GST, and one should try to understand as the students of the capital market what is GST and how it will help the Indian economy and increase the GDP rate. So the expert opinion is that if the GDP implemented, the growth rate of the economy will increase by 1 to 2%. Second thing that is currently happening in the Indian economy is the increase in FDI limit in the insurance sector. If that is happening today, the parliament has not passed the insurance bill. But if that gets passed, then it will help the Indian economy in a big way to get the increased cash flow and also increase the opening of the insurance sector for the Indian economy. If insurance sector is opened up, then it will help the number of companies who have floated insurance companies. Say today HDFC is having insurance company, then ICICI Bank, State Bank, then this Exide Industries is also having. There are companies, they have floated insurance companies, but as this sector has not opened up, the advantage is not coming to them. If this sector is opened up as it is decided and the time is the only factor, then value of the shares held by these companies will get unlocked. And that's why there is a potentiality of appreciation in the companies which are also holding the shares of insurance companies. So we like banking sector, then we try to see that which banks are also having insurance arm. And that's why we should try to, when we are positive about the banks, try to select the bank which is having insurance arm also, so that when the value gets unlocked, the double advantage will come. Market capitalization subject which we all are interested, because increase in market capitalization helps both promoters and the investors. Why we are investing in equity? To create wealth. So any company or any company that we select for investment, we try to see that the company's growth rate is good and market capitalization will go up in time to come, so that we create value from our investment in equity. We all know today that Sun Pharma has done very well, and its promoter Dilip Sanghvi is the richest person, promoter of India. So gradually, Indian promoters have started understanding the importance of market capitalization, and that's why they are also now looking to the improve the market capitalization of their company. Because if the market capitalization of a company goes, it is good for the promoters, because the bankers and with their suppliers and all these things, all people will be more able. And there are a number of avenues for investment, like gold, silver, diamond, real estate, fixed deposit, and equity. My experience says that if investment in equity is done on a scientific basis or with full knowledge and understanding, that is the best avenue for creating wealth. So we are in a field where there is a possibility where the investment value can go up, and I think there is a lot of potentiality for we all people to grow in time to come. We can invest our money scientifically, and we can also invest clients' money, so that his wealth is getting enhanced. Today, the situation for the capital market is much better, because for the first time in Indian economy, there is a government with a majority, and the person who is the prime minister looking for growth of this country. I think if the economy of the country improves as it is envisaged and as it is vision, then there is a good potentiality for increasing the share value. And I think this is the time we should work hard and increase our investment in equity. Then at this point of time, as I have said, the knowledge of industry is very much necessary. Which are the sectors which are likely to perform better in, say, in coming time, looking to the thinking of the government? Government has opened up defense sector, so the companies which are involved in defense production, they will be creating value for the investors. Another sector that is likely to get benefit is the cement sector, because government wants to increase the use cement in the road sector. They are also looking to house for every individual by 2022. I think that increases the prospects of the industry. After that, automobile industry is there. In automobile industry, I think component industry is very much important. Today, nobody is looking at the component sector, but in time to come, component sector will give a good value for our investment. The reason is that in India, I think every car producer of the world is in this country, and they are highly satisfied with the components produced in this country. And that has also opened up the opportunity for exports from India in this industry. When we listen to the interviews of and try to meet the management of various companies which are in the field, they say the prospects for automobile component industry's growth is higher in the world market than the Indian market. So I think this industry, like the say in pharma industry, the growth is higher because they are catering to the Indian market as well as the world market. So they are getting advantage of the market. So any industry which is working in both the Indian market and export market, they have a better opportunity. Then the third industry that according to me as on today is the companies which are providing components or say this thing to the railways. Because this government is very much bent upon to improve the situation in this country. And that's why a lot of money is likely to get pumped into this industry. And those companies which have already created facility for producing the components for the railway, they will get the opportunity. So today, in the stock market today, the vegan industry, I think today the coal minister has said that I would like to spend a lot of money after the power sector and also for the railways. He is talking of giving large orders to the vegan industry because without vegan you can't transport the things. So the companies which are producing vegans will have a good time in this thing. Today he is talking of making investment in power sector also. So power sector, which is the company which is likely to get the highest advantage if it is aggressively carried out. I think BHEL stands the very good chance because we have seen that in last, when the power sector was initially accelerated, BHEL had a very good order position. After that, the things have gone down. But again, this thing background situation is like technology is likely to get the benefit. So in a similar way, one has to find out which are the companies and which are the industry where there is a growth, there is a possibility of growth. Basically, sitting in the capital market, I think that there are a number of people who are dealers also here. May I ask that, are you knowing that which are the companies which has recently announced stock split? Because what is happening, if you are sitting in the market and you are not knowing, because whenever a company is announcing stock split, I think the capital appreciation is coming. That is, there are a number of examples that I can also give you. And latest is the Berger Paint. After that, which are the companies? I may ask you, are you knowing that which are the companies which have announced the stock split?
Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda.
Corporation Bank has also announced. Today, Nerolic Paint has also announced stock split. Then Alkalamines has also announced the stock split. So basically, I think if you are working with the full mind, even when you are as a dealer, I think if you are able to pass on all this information to the client, then it will help you to increase your business. Secondly, there are several recommendations also coming. Say, from my side, I am sending recommendations that this company is good, is a good buy, or say it is good for investment. I don't think that the dealers are giving due weightage to that, because whenever the recommendation is made, then you have to read it, digest it, and then when talking to the client, you have to explain to him. So unless you read and try to create your base strong, how can you talking to the clients several times can give confidence for buying a particular share. So I think majority of the people were sitting here, with due respect to them, are not doing their homework as it is required. If it is done very sincerely, then it will increase the business. So our empowerment is very much necessary to enhance our business, even if we are a financial advisor. So if you want to ask any question, I am there to answer.
क्वेश्चन है ये इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में एलएनटी मूवमेंट नहीं बता रहे हो तो क्या कारण है? अच्छा
Basically, I think there are
दूसरा मेटल कंपनी टाटा उसमें 20% डाउन हो जाने का क्या कारण?
I will tell you. So far as L&T is concerned, it is a very good company. It is the company which has got a execution capacity to carry out the whatever projects they are given to them. But today there are so many hurdles in the economy. As we read and that the Congress government, after ruling so many years, they have created so many hurdles for land and all these things. So unless that is, then how can you implement the project? Unless the project is completed, you will not get the money. So government is trying to remove all these hurdles. That's why they have brought ordinance for, say, land. Then they are thinking of bringing ordinance for mining also. Because in all these fields, the infrastructure and in the road sector also there is a difficulty, because when you start building road at one place, again some land is required, then you are not getting it. So the projects are not getting completed, and that's why, though the Larsen has got the highest capability of execution of order, the market is not giving it value. Once it is happening, then the value will get unlocked for the Larsen, because it is number one company in the industry. Secondly, for the Larsen, I think they have got a good background of executing defense projects. Up till now, the private sector was not allowed to work in sector. Now, with the new thinking of the government, I think the defense sector is also opening up for the private sector. So, Larsen in coming time will have a good prospects. So far as TISCO is concerned, TISCO is suffering because of their first as they made investment in Chorus, and that is affecting this company, because Indian plant is doing very well. Whatever the money invested in Chorus, that is making loss, and just it has recently improved the working. But because of that, the entire growth of this company got affected. That is one thing. And secondly, for any steel company to get grow in the market is the manufacturing sector. We are all government is thinking that manufacturing sector should today, say in China, the manufacturing sectors in the GDP is percentage wise it is 50%. In India it is 17-18% only. Now with all these hurdles getting removed, manufacturing sector will grow. And if manufacturing sector grows, then the steel will be required. So I think the TISCO is a strong company, but there is time for this company to get revived.
How do we see the order book of the company?
Order book of the company, because generally to previous order book, so generally we are talking to the hearing, to the conference call, then you listening to the balance sheet, and then generally interviews are coming as we see. We come to know, and we order position we try to know from the balance sheet also, and anything. And if you are going to AGM and all these things attending, then one can ask the question and get the knowledge of this thing. Because generally, majority of the companies are giving their growth plans. Good companies are at least giving, so you get the idea that what will be the growth of this company. So what has happened today, Bharat Electronics, BEL, nobody was looking at that company, though it had a very good capability. But today now the government has opened up this thing sector. That company is having a strong financial position and also technology. So you must have seen that in last 1 month or 2 months, the share has skyrocketed. So what is required for that any sector in which we are investing? So today, fiber is there. Optic fiber sector is not growing because company like Starlight Optical, it is not going up because government is thinking of digital India. So they will have to create the entire network of digital India, that is optical fiber network. Once the real investment starts in that line, creating the facility or laying the optical fiber network, then this company will get large orders and the capital appreciation will come. So basically one has to look which industry is likely to get the benefit and where the money is likely to get spent.
Top three defense companies, top three defense manufacturing companies.
Manufacturing companies, I think, in defense, I think today the market has not recognized Larsen. Larsen has got a lot of capability in the defense sector, and now with this opening of this thing, defense sector, they will good opportunity because market is not looking at this company. The market starts looking at the company when it catches momentum. But if you want to take a 6 month to 1 year view, Larsen in infrastructure sector is one of the best buy.
સર અત્યારે કરંટ લેવલ થી ઇન્ફોસિસ અત્યારે બોનસ આવી પહોંચ્યો તો એનો રેટ હાફ થઈ ગયો છે તો એવી આશા હતી કે એમાં લિક્વિડિટી વધશે અને રેટ હાઈ થશે તો અત્યારે કરંટ લેવલ પર એમાં શું કરે?
Basically, I think if you have listened to the conference, this thing, TV interview yesterday, I think this gentleman, we was thinking that the profit will not increase. So, to our surprise, our profit has increased. Then he has said our growth rate is likely to go up by 7 to 9%. Then one more point he said that our attrition rate has gone down. So after this gentleman, Sikka has become the managing director, the confidence of the people and the people who are working with the company has increased. Now they don't want to, not looking at other places to get the job. They would like to remain with this company to improve their prospects. So that is a good thing that has happened for this company. And he has very clearly said that 80% or more capacity utilization will be there in this company. So I think for any software company, 82% capacity utilization is very good because there are always people on the bench. Say initially they take people and then train them. So if 82% utilization is coming of the people, then I think it will be very good for the company. I think the prospects of this company are very good. They are now, after Narayan Murthy left the company, another good leader has come into this company, and according to me, the prospects will remain good for Infosys. You have to tell the client that buy whenever there is a price correction and accumulate the share. Fundamental will remain strong. And today, I think he said in his interview yesterday that there is a slight opening of the Indian market for software industry. Because today our large corporates, they want to increase their competitiveness. Why the people are spending so much of money after technology? Because they want to increase their efficiency in operations. So today Indian banks are, I think, the technology is very low utilization. So there is a good opportunity for this market also. I think it will take time, but in a year or two, the Indian market will also get opened up for the technology sector.
टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में तो क्या नया अवेलेबल है?
हाँ?
टेलीकॉम
Telecom sector will remain good. આ બધા પેલું spectrum નું આ તે બધા issues છે, how they are getting settled now. But telecom sector on the whole will have a good potentiality because now the times are changing and utilization is increasing. So it will have a good time.
around price effect શું આવું
હા.
રિઝલ્ટ બતાયા ये profit પણ ટર્ન અરાઉન્ડ માં આવતું નથી કોઈ પણ time.
પણ હવે શું છે કેટલા બધા ઇશ્યુઝ છે અહીંયા આગળ અને બધા ઇશ્યુ સોર્ટ આઉટ થાય પછી હવે આવશે. બટ ટેલિકોમ વિના તો ચાલવાનું નથી ને. કોમ્યુનિકેશન ઇઝ અ સેક્ટર. હા. હા. પબ્લિક સેક્ટરમાં બેઝિકલી શું છે કે અત્યાર સુધી PSU સેક્ટર though the financially is very strong, the companies are big large, but the growth is not coming in the as it is desired. Now it appears that this government is taking stock of public sector companies. So this has happened in the country. The case is that of banks. All private sector banks, you look at the working of the private sector banks and you look at the working of the public sector banks. Private sector banks have done so well and public sector banks have not done well. Because of the political influence up till now, then the efficiency is not there and this thing, they are not working as desired. So I think with the pressure, then now the accountability of these companies will increase, and with that, I think the prospects for public sector companies will improve. All India, according to me, is the best opportunity for investment because the government disinvestment is then likely disinvestment. That's why the share is not going up. But the way the demand for coal is there, and they are trying to increase the efficiency of that company, I think the capital appreciation will be large in time to come. Once that government sale process gets over, I value.
Aviation sector માં સાહેબ
હા.
aviation
એવિએશનમાં તો અત્યારના એક જ કંપની છે જેટ એરવેઝ. પણ if you want to understand that company industry jet this thing, this fall in crude price has helped this sector to a very large extent. We have seen that aviation sector, the fuel cost is highest, and that fuel cost has come down because of this. This in recent episode of SpiceJet, they were explaining that our aviation bill has come down by 500 crores. So 500 crores is a big thing for any company to save on this. So I think that's why this company is likely to get money and it will revive. But the biggest advantage at this point of time will come to Jet Airways because they are in a very sound position, and I think the circumstances, including recent fall in oil price, that will help them a lot.
Sir, जैसे ऑटो सर्किट का भी 100% FDI कर दे दिया.
Management is not true itself. That's why people are not getting confidence. Management is very important component for the success of any company. If the driver is good, then the car will run well.
કિશન કાકા લોંગ રન માં તમે પ્રાઇસ ની ઇફેક્ટ શું જોઈ રહ્યા છો? આ શોર્ટ ટર્મ માટે રહી શકે કે
Basically, what has happened, and today the companies which are utilizing using oil in a big way, or oil-based raw material or anything, their shares are not going up because everybody has some stock in the pipeline. So that inventory loss will happen up till December, according to my this thing understanding. So December, January, after that they will get the advantage of the lower raw material prices, and that will help these companies to again bounce back.
ક્રૂડનો સિનારીઓ ઓલરેડી આ જ રહેશે.
અત્યારના તો એઝ ઇટ ઇઝ એવું લાગે છે કે there may be some fluctuation, but બહુ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં વધે એવું અત્યારના નથી લાગતું. Because America is controlling in a big way, and I think America wants to put a lot of pressure on Russia. I think Russia was not coming to their thinking, and I think there are a lot. The war can happen in a different way. So there can be an armed war, and then can be currency war, and this can be a oil war. So USA in a strong position is fighting oil war.
કરન્સી વોરમાં આપણો ઇન્ડિયા અત્યારે ક્યાં લેવલ પર તમે
અત્યારના શું છે, basically I think everybody wants to try to understand, and majority of the people have not understood why the government is not reducing the bank rate. So bank rate is not getting reduced because lot of money has come to India in equity investment and in the debt fund. Whatever the money has come in debt fund is 3 times that in the equity has come. If they reduce the interest rate, I think there is a possibility of money getting withdrawn from the Indian economy. And at this point of time, government cannot afford that thing. This can happen only suppose this insurance sector was likely to be getting opened up. And the expectation was that it will attract 50 to 60,000 crores of investment in this country. Similarly, mining and all these sectors are not getting defense. Now you will be saving money on defense and all these things. And then it will help ultimately. So basically, these are all developments one has to look into. Logistic companies, they are already run up. I think that's why I have not covered logistic. I have covered railway, where there's going to be a lot of potentiality. Like so we try to understand which sector now onward. If they run up and then we are chasing that stocks, we are not going to create value. One should try to understand the industry and identify which industry is likely. So in China, the production of car is over 2 crores, and in India it is 22 lakhs. So what type of growth can come to in India for the car industry, for automobile industry, and then the automobile component industry? So one has to look, because the China and Indian economy, they are of the same size. So
equity markets, 2006, 7, 8, they used to China 50 lakhs demat account khulta tha. Apne cumulative 50 lakhs per se.
Here basically I think the people are not getting confidence in equity investment. Up till now, that situation was that there was no good governance. Nobody was looking after the economy. Nobody was there sincerely. Say today, Coal India strike padવાની વાત હતી. This government is very active, proactive. They have avoided the strike. હવે તમે એક વિચાર કરી જો કે કોલની સ્ટ્રાઇક પડી હોય તો ઇન્ડિયન ઇકોનોમીનું શું સિચ્યુએશન થશે? કોલનું સપ્લાય બંધ થઈ જાય તો પાવર સેક્ટર વિલ ગેટ એફેક્ટેડ. પાવર સેક્ટર વિલ ગેટ એફેક્ટેડ, the industry will get affected. So up till the government was not alive. Now this government is very much alive, and every day we see that they are announcing some measures to see that the growth rate of the economy improves.
બીજું એક ટ્રેડ ઓફ થાય છે. નોર્મલી ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ્સ કરાવીએ છીએ તો વેલ્થ ક્રિએશન થાય છે. ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટેબલ અમાઉન્ટ એટલી ફાસ્ટ રાઇઝ નથી થતી. એ ટ્રેડ ઓફ તમે લોકો
પણ હવે એક વસ્તુ છે, બેઝિકલી તમે એક કંપની સિલેક્ટ કરો એન્ડ ગીવ ઇટ એક વર્ષનું મિનિમમ પ્લાનિંગ તો કરવું જ જોઈએ ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટની. એક તો લોંગ ટર્મ બી થાય છે, અને સેકન્ડલી કોઈ બી કંપનીના ડેવલપમેન્ટ છે ઇટ ઇઝ નોટ જસ્ટ કે કોઈ જાદુ તો નથી હોતું. ઇટ ટેક્સ ટાઈમ. So I think one has to take a little longer view of the companies which you have identified, and if you see that investment. Now if we are talking of vegan industry today, then the orders are likely to come. If say it is delayed, then their process will get delayed by another 3-6 months. But if it is happening, say tomorrow or say in a month's time, then the things will improve. Similarly, like mining sector, today Sesa Sterlite is one of the finest companies, according to me. But their this thing, aluminum plant is getting affected because raw material they are not getting. Secondly, in iron ore they are having this. There also the mining hurdle is there. So once if see these hurdles are removed and it appears that it will get removed, then in coming 3 to 6 months, these companies prospects will also improve.
Will PSUs overtake public sector companies? Will grow faster or have an advantage in this government than a private sector company? If my investment in public sector
Government,
companies,
I don't think the government is going to give any particular advantage to the, but now the
no,
accountability.
why am I asking this? Suppose if I, correct me if I'm wrong, say for Coal India, it has happened in the Coal India or some other company, not correct. It has happened for the first time that they have given an advertisement in the newspaper saying that we want a post from outside from a managing director or authority. We say that that never used to happen in a public sector company where people who are executive directors or a VP or a head or a tail, उसको बना देते थे CMD. First time it has happened in the country that recruitment is happening openly. Suppose if I am a Tata employee for 30 years, I can apply for a CMD post on Coal India so that I can meet Mr. Modi and Jaitley Saab and XYZ people in the ministry. So why am I asking you this is if my investment in public sector company is zero because assume any of the company, PFC or REC or I don't know, other banks or Coal India or BHEL, will my investment, say a 10 rupee investment now in any of these companies, if the cycle turns, which has done, if the economy grows, which everybody thinks will grow, so I think can this quadruple or multiple, I don't know how much time it can become, in another 5 years period.
That's why
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Basically up till now, say in public sector banks, nobody was there to ask it why the bank is not performing. This has happened for the first time that the government is worried when the private sector is doing well, why public sector is not doing well. So now they are putting pressure and they want to also appoint professionals as a managing director of the company, say bank. Similarly, I think it will happen. That's why the Coal India has announced that they want to appoint a person. In Congress ruling, there was a lot of corruption and politically influenced people were getting the top post. Now this government wants to increase production, they want to improve the economy. They are trying to identify good professionals and put them on the top of the company so that the growth rate of the company will improve. And that's why it appears that public sector we are not looking today because the market has the habit of not looking at the companies which are growing. But looking to the present scenario and present thinking of the government, I think public sector companies there is a scope for improvement.
One more question. What about PF investing into equity is not happening yet?
This basically, I think that is a policy decision of the government, and the government is to see in all.
Government wants to raise
Basically, I think that is in every country it is getting done. In India is not happening. So I think it is a big decision on the part of the government, and there may not be any political repercussions. So all these things will gradually happen, but not as we think as on today. Why government is not denationalizing many of the, just we give the example of Coal India one day before. That the government talked about the opening of the Coal India, and I think the labor strike was there. So the thinking of the people have to change, and they get convinced that whether it should remain in public sector because prospects, those who don't want to do the work prefers public sector, but those who want to improve their prospects in a company, then they will definitely see that is professionalize and grow, so that on merits your prospects will improve. Because public sector, everybody is going to the office but not working and not contributing. And those people are opposite.
Thank you everyone for coming. We have lunch arranged. Again, there is those who prefer giant lunch, please ask them. They will provide a giant lunch also to you all, because considering capital market has a lot of giant. So I thought that probably we'll just arrange. So I just request everyone to please be here in this room only for lunch. And I'm really thankful to Kishan sir for sharing this view. Really, it will help all of us, because भले session 1 घंटे का था, probably this is we could call it as a experience of 40 years or 50 years of investing. So probably that will something add value to everyone. Thank you.
One small thing that I would like to give, expecting from the dealers today, what the dealers they are considering their role just in execution of business, but these are the people who are talking to the clients in a big way, and they are one who can give the whatever important developments happening on the day-to-day basis or hour-to-hour basis. So I think unless they increase their knowledge and empower themselves, the business of any organization will not improve. Say not KRC, if any person who is a stockbroker and doing as a sub-broker, unless your dealer becomes powerful and he has a urge to increase his knowledge and giving it to that thing to the client, your business will not improve. So my sincere advice to all these dealers who are sitting here, they should try to see that there is a possibility of their upgradation also if they start change their thinking, and it will help the organization. So it will be a win-win situation for the company and their individual, because knowledge that you access your wealth. I think that knowledge will be will not come unless you work hard. I may ask you very frankly, how many people we are reading the transcript of all the interviews that are coming? You see, people are not reading, and then you're not doing homework. Then how will you tell your client? There are 5 dealers in your office. The clients are asking that I want to talk to this dealer, and he is not talking to 4 other dealers. Why he is asking that the person who is more empowered is getting the advantage of executing the business, because client would like to talk to him who can give information.
This is what Kishan sir said is more from an investor point of view, because he himself is an investor more than a broker. So what is there is we need to just understand from an investor psychology that why would investor prefer dealer A and not dealer B? With the simple reason him preferring that we also today we take a classic example that we used to bank with a public sector bank, and now we all prefer banking with a second generation bank, because the feeling is different. The staff when you enter in any private sector bank is far superior in terms of talking and getting ideas compared to public sector bank. So we also have moved our account from private sector bank, from public sector bank to private sector with this, because we also like to deal. So that's exactly what Kishan is trying to say, that this kind of sessions what we have, or even for yourself, try to give more time, try to understand. Probably KRChoskey is one organization where we do conference call every day morning for your benefit and benefit of investors. So please participate, ask questions. We have entire research team always available during morning conference call. Deven always available during morning conference call. My sales team is available during morning conference call. So please, I don't know from the network partner side, but if you come to my office, there would be at least 15 people available when conference call is going on. So the reason is that we want that any question that you ask, we should have some reply for you guys, so that you can take back to your investors. That's the main key reason of us updating early morning. We start at 8:20, so that it gets over by 8:45. You get a time to look at the client ledger, client position, and talk to the investors from 8:45 to 9:15 till market opens. Because after 9:15 is all the prices where we get busy. That's the half an hour what we have the time to enhance the knowledge and talk to them.
For your knowledge, Asian Paint has announced 2,300 crore investment today.
Where is that?
2300 crore investment.
Where is it? Where is it?
South. ગઈકાલે એક મહિનાનું બી આવ્યું છે ને, they acquired the company. So how many people
prefer करेंगे investment के हिसाब से?
हाँ?
Stock prefer करेंगे purchase.
Sector wise.
सेक्टर में अभी ये जो if you are looking to cement, then Ambuja Cement appears to be good. ये वेगन इंडस्ट्री में टीटागर वेगन and I think infrastructure के लिए जो if you want to have a safe bet, then you buy Larsen. Larsen is not moving, but it will definitely move because it is the company which has got the strong execution capability.
We'll have a next session on 14th February. 14th February will be, because now we are trying to keep the second Saturday of every month. So 14th February will be our next session, which will be Hemen will continue from here. Thanks. Join us for lunch, everyone, please. Deepak. Thank you.